Welcome to the 2013 FIM Motocross World Championship Season Review. Over the course of the next 50 minutes, we'll be taking a look back at some of the highs and lows of the FIM MX1 and MX2 Motocross World Championship season, as well as a brief look at what happened at the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. It was a year where history was made on more than one occasion, and for the first time in the history of the World Championship, we visited Qatar and the first ever Grand Prix to be held under artificial light. We also headed out to Thailand as well. There was a welcome return to some of the old school circuits of yesteryear, such as Arco di Trento and Maggiore in Italy, and Hyvinkää in Finland also played its part in this year's campaign. Mixed in with some of the regular circuits, we were all set to go racing, with the season opener kicking things off under the bright lights of Qatar.
Hello and welcome to the first programme of the year, which can only mean one thing. It's the first round of the 2013 FIM World Motocross Championship. Let's kick things off in Qatar.
When the gate dropped for the first race of the season, all eyes were on defending champion Kai Rowley, who grabbed the first hole shot of the year, but he fell on lap one, handing the lead to Kevin Strybos with Evgeny Bobryshev in hot pursuit. In the early stages of the race, Kenny Dyker, Clement de Sal, Ruy Gonçalves and Gauthier Paulin all gave chase as Kai Rowley carved his way towards the front, passing Tommy Searle on the 100 machine along the way. On lap 7, Kevin Strybos came under attack from Kenny Dyker, and a mistake from Strybos allowed Bobryshev to move into second. But after starting fourth, Clement de Sal charged around Dyker to take the lead on lap 14. Paulin couldn't match the pace of the leaders and had to settle for fourth as Kai Rowley went after Bobryshev in the battle for third. And with 2 laps to go, Kai Rowley's patience was rewarded, but the first one of the year went to Clement de Sal. Dyker was second, Kai Rowley was third. In MX2, after qualifying second in his heat race, Glenn Coldenhoff, 259, grabbed the early advantage in MX2 Race 1 as Ferrandis hit trouble early on. Coldenhoff was soon feeling the heat from the defending champion Jeffrey Hurlings as the two riders battled for the lead, with Hurlings easily moving around his fellow countrymen. Bud Racing's Kawasaki Valentin Tellier won his qualifier but was forced to retire with front-end issues. And Jordi Tixier fell whilst giving chase to the two Yamahas of Dean Ferris and Mel Pocock, but quickly remounted to take 7th at the flag. No problems though for Red Bull KTM teammate, and it was a win for Hurlings. Coldenhoff was second, Christophe Charlier was third. In the super final, it saw the top 20 MX1 and MX2 riders going in the same race, with points awarded separately towards their own championship positions, and the sight of 40 riders charging through turn 1 was breathtaking. De Sal led for the first 4 laps from Tony Kai Rowley, and the two riders put on quite a show for the fans. Buried between Kevin Strybos, 22, and Paulin, 21, in 5th was the lead MX2 rider Jeffrey Hurlings, number 84, enjoying mixing it with the bigger bikes. Bobryshev had enjoyed sitting in 3rd for much of the race, but on lap 18, Paulin found a way through. They were no match for Kai Rowley, who went on to win the super final. Despite heavy rains on Saturday, the organisers at C. Richard put on a great show and the hillside circuit was in perfect condition to go racing. Temperatures of 37 degrees would ensure that the Grand Prix of Thailand would be a tough place to race. Bobryshev, 777, set the early pace, pushing Kai Rowley on lap 1 with Dyker, de Sal and Frossard giving chase. Frossard lost a few positions with this slip at the bottom of one of the hills and it would eventually drop to 9th. Dyker then fell from the lead on lap 6. Dyker went through and so too did Kai Rowley on the Russian's mistake. Dyker's lead lasted just 3 laps before giving way to his Red Bull KTM teammate Tony Kai Rowley, and after a poor start, Kevin Strybos on the 22 brushed aside Ruy Gonçalves to move into 8th. And Kai Rowley claimed the win from Dyker. De Sal was 3rd, Paulin 4th, Searle was 5th. In MX2 Race 1, the Wilvo Nastar and JM Racing KTM's Romain Fevre was the surprise package in MX2, and after placing second behind Hurlings in the qualifying race, stormed to the hole shot in turn 1. Hurlings just took half a lap to find his way to the lead as Jake Nichols, Jose Boutron and Max Anstey on the 14 rounded out the top 5. Glenn Coldenhoff on the standing construct KTM made a mistake but kept Tixier at bay in 6th as Alessandro Lupino literally carved his way through the field and Dylan Ferrandis on his way to 8th. With 4 laps to go, Tixier got the better of Coldenhoff for 6 as Hurlings made it 3 wins out of 3. The MX2 250s were at a slight disadvantage on the long uphill start straight in the super final as Cairoli stormed into an early lead from Clément de Sal, Gauthier Paulin, Frossard, Gonçalves and Searle. A little bit of congestion going through the first couple of corners. Dean Ferris 111 was the lead MX2 rider for a while as he battled with MX1 rider Rui Gonçalves. But Tony Cairoli on the 222 was always in control at the head of the field as Paulin did his best to catch de Sal. Hurlings had worked so hard to close the gap to Paulin in 4 as the lead MX2 rider, but the task of making the podium was just out of reach as Frossard battled with Fevre. With 5 laps to go, Paulin had caught de Sal and made his move to take second on the Belgian, but it was a perfect day for Tony Cairoli as he stormed to a double race win in the overall victory. Paulin was second, de Sal was third. Hurlings was the overall winner in MX2 with Romain Fevre and Jose Boutron rounding out the podium in third, but it was a very successful Thai Grand Prix indeed. The return to Europe saw the unveiling of the new skybox, which acts as a shelter to the riders in the waiting zone, VIP area and podium, all in the same structure. And despite the sunny conditions, temperatures at Valkenswaard hovered just above zero all weekend, and as the MX1 riders swept through Turn 1, it was the Hondas of Bobryshev and Max Nagel that led the way. Cairoli was never too far away and towards the end of the lap made his move on Bobryshev to lead the race. At the midway point of the race though, Ken de Deijcker had caught his teammate Cairoli and made a pass around the outside to take the lead, but it only lasted for 2 laps, the waves catching de Deijcker out, dropping him back to third. Cairoli though was in a class of his own as Gauthier Paulin forced his Kawasaki into 5th with this pass on Max Nagel with 6 laps to go. Tano Leok, number 40, was ahead of him in 4th, but Cairoli did enough to keep Bobryshev at bay, took his 4th win in a row. In race 2, once again, it was the fast-starting Bobryshev who made it to turn 1 first as Kevin Strybos and Ken de Deijcker battled over second. Cairoli started around 5th, but on lap 12 caught the Rockstar Energy Suzuki of Kevin Strybos, making an easy pass into second. Ken de Deijcker couldn't afford to relax at the front though as Cairoli was on the charge, but de Deijcker managed to do enough to win his first race since June 2010 and celebrated with a knack-knack as he crossed the line. Cairoli was second, Strybos was third, and the podium was Cairoli, de Deijcker and Bobryshev. In MX2, home favourite Jeffrey Hurlings escaped injury as a result of a huge crash in qualifying and would have to start on the outside of the grid. But after a lap, Hurlings had passed Koldenhoff to take third before going after Max Anstey for second. Once Hurlings was into second, he set his sights on his Red Bull teammate Tixier and pulled off the pass of the race on the steep descent to move into the lead at half distance. Jose Boutron got the better of Prit Ratsep as he guided his Silver Air Action KTM into 7th, but as expected, Hurlings took the win in race 1. Once again, Tixier led the way in race 2 as Romain Fevre and Elliot Banks-Brown, Mel Pocock battled over 5th place. Jake Nichols launched his Wilvo Nastar and JM Racing KTM past Glenn Koldenhoff on the 259 to move into second, and lap 8 found Hurlings charging through the pack past Nichols. 4 laps to go, Hurlings was all over his teammate Tixier, who'd led from the start, and in the end it was an easy pass that propelled Hurlings into the lead and onto the checkered flag to record his 5th consecutive home Grand Prix win, all of them double moto victories. Hurlings, Tixier, Nichols was your podium. In race 1, the Get Athena whole shot went to Tony Cairoli as Tommy Searle, CLS Montreal Kawasaki, battled with Ken de Deijcker for second. Xavier Borg on the Ice One Racing KTM and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, number 89 on the factory Kawasaki, battled over 7th before Van Hoorbeek found a way through with 5 laps to go, leaving Borg to fight over 8th with number 24, Sean Simpson. With Cairoli 3 seconds ahead, Paulin and de Sal fought over second, and it was a bit close at times, but Cairoli raced to win the 6th time of the season, Paulin second, de Sal third. Race 2, there was drama at turn 2 with a crash that saw de Sal, Searle and Philippots all go down as Cairoli stayed out of trouble to take another hole shot. The STR KTM of Jonathan Barrigan, number 7, found himself in 5th at the end of the first lap, battling with Max Nagel's Honda. Xavier Borg and Max Nagel had their own little battle as Jeremy Van Hoorbeek ran with the number 91 of Mattis Caro. Clément de Sal, though, was no match for Tony Cairoli. Cairoli won the overall Grand Prix as well as the race. So your podium then in Trentino, Cairoli with a double win, de Deijcker second, Paulin was third. In MX2, race 1, Jordi Tixier on the 911, Tim Geiser and Jimmy Dakotas 613 on the green Kawasaki hustled for the Get Athena Whole Shot Award as Lupino went down behind them. By lap 3, Hurlings was up to 6 and onto the rear wheel of Geiser and challenging Jake Nichols, who made it tough for the defending champion. After passing Nichols and Jose Boutron in quick succession, Hurlings went after Christophe Charlier, and on lap 13, the Dutchman was through into second. 3 laps later, he passed Tixier and went on to win. In race 2, Jose Boutron fired his Silver Action KTM into the lead, with Ferris and Nichols giving chase. By the end of lap 6, Hurlings scrubbed his way past Dean Ferris on the big downhill to move into second after a poor start, and a lap later, Hurlings used his speed and technique through the waves at the top of the hill to pass Boutron, number 17, and take control of the race, going from 10th to 1st in 7 laps. A luckless Jake Nichols, 45, went out of 5th at the midway point with a technical problem, ending any chance of another podium. But Glenn Koldenoff, 259, was heading for 6th on the standing construct KTM, but it was Hurlings who raced to another victory, his 8th in a row. He won the overall from Tixier and Boutron.
Well, there we have it. Jeffrey Hurlings defying the odds once again, and Tony Cairoli picking up his 57th career victory. We'll see you next weekend in Bulgaria. Ciao for now.
In Bulgaria, Gautier Paulin won the qualifying race, was on the inside gate for the 181st turn, but it was Max Nagel, number 12, who got there first. Paulin led the way from Strybos as Searle, number 100, lost third to the hard-charging Clement de Salle, who then went after his Rockstar Energy teammate Strybos for second. Kenda Diker and Davide Guarneri battled for 9th as Cairoli went after Max Nagel on the number 12, eventually forcing his way into 5th on lap 13. 3 laps later, Cairoli on the 222 was past Searle and into 4th, and that's where he would stay as the 2 Rockstar Suzuki's provided the fireworks as they went at it for second. Strybos just edging out de Salle for that one. Gautier Paulin, though, took his and Kawasaki's first win of the season in race 1. Race 2 saw Tony Cairoli from the Gate 5 rocket out of the gate, but would be second for the first 3 laps as Paulin led the way. Tommy Searle got into the rear end of Rui Gonçalves and went out of 7th. Cairoli, number 222, eventually found a way past Paulin on lap 4 as the 2 Hondas of David Philipparts and Max Nagel here fought over 8th. The 2 Suzukis of de Salle and Strybos were at it again, but this time it was de Salle with the advantage in 3rd. Paulin knew that if he stayed there in 2nd, it would be good enough to win the overall. Cairoli won the race, but Paulin crossed the line to win his first Grand Prix of the season. Paulin was 1st, Cairoli 2nd, de Salle was 3rd. In MX2 race 1, Jose Boutron took the Get Athena Whole Shot Award but ran wide on the exit, allowing the Red Bull KTMs of Tixier and Hurlings an easy route through. And the 2 KTMs were bar to bar for 6 laps until Hurlings pulled off a great downhill pass to move into the lead on lap 7. Dean Ferris and Mel Pocock were caught napping as Max Anstey passed both Monster Energy Yamahas to take 9th with 5 laps to go on his Rockstar Suzuki. And Jake Nichols squeezed past a back marker to maintain his 6th place, but Alessandro Lupino was not so lucky as he went down without losing a position, challenging Charlier for 7th. No such drama for Hurlings though, as he took win number 9 from 9 starts. In race 2, Christophe Charlier went too early and paid the price at the start of the race as Mel Pocock stormed the whole shot but was out on lap 4. A nervous Lupino had good reason to keep an eye on Jose Boutron as they battled over 3rd, and despite this pass, Lupino eventually retook 3rd. It was another win for Hurlings, his 5th consecutive Grand Prix victory. In the podium, it was a Red Bull KTM 1-2 for Hurlings and Tixier. Lupino was 3rd, his first ever podium. In Portugal, Clement de Salle took his first pole position of the season on the Rockstar Suzuki, but it was Cairoli on the Red Bull KTM that grabbed the early advantage from the Kawasaki of Paulin, who on lap 6 forced his way past Cairoli to take control of the race. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, number 89, was starting to hit form after a pre-season hand injury, was almost healed, but he lost out to Max Nagel in their battle for 4th at half distance. But the big talking point of the race came on the final lap when Cairoli crashed out spectacularly over the handlebars. Whilst he was okay, his clutch lever was completely broken, leaving Paulin to take the win from de Salle with Cairoli in 3rd. Well, after a pulsating first race, the question would be, would race 2 match up to race 1? And the answer was a resounding yes. Cairoli led the way once again as Paulin and DeSalle gave chase, providing us with some of the closest racing of the year so far. The GoPro on David Philipparts caught some great action of his battle with Tommy Searle, number 100, as they battled for 6th for most of the race. Another big moment was DeSalle's crash with 2 laps to go as he tried to pass Paulin. DeSalle finished 5th as Cairoli took the race win from Paulin and Didika, but the overall victory belonged to Gauthier Paulin on the Kawasaki. Quick look at the standings. Cairoli has a 28-point lead after 6 rounds. Paulin and DeSalle just a little bit further back. But your podium in Portugal, Paulin, Cairoli and DeSalle. In MX2 Race 1, Jeffrey Hurlings did his usual disappearing act as his teammate Tixier found himself being pushed hard by Jake Nichols as they battled for 4th. Nichols would pass Boutron for 3rd, leaving Tixier on the 911 to deal with Boutron. He passed him a couple of laps later to take 4th and went back after Nichols, but he came off worse at the bottom of the hill at turn 1. Another race though, another win for Hurlings, this time by a margin of 1 minute and 18. Nichols was 2nd, Boutron was 3rd. In MX2 Race 2, could anybody stop Jeffrey Hurlings? That was the question at the start of the race, but it soon became apparent that the answer was an emphatic no. Although he did fall whilst leading, but was so far ahead it barely registered, more of a shock than anything else. Tonkov and Anstey crossed lines mid-air as they battled for 8th on lap 14, with Anstey coming off the worst, but he eventually came home in 11th. The monster energy Yamaha of Dean Ferris, number 111, came home in 2nd, which was good enough for a podium appearance in Portugal, but it was Hurlings who took another convincing win by more than a minute. Hurlings remains unbeaten with a maximum points and is 81 clear of Tixier. Koldenhoff is now 3rd. And Hurlings, Ferris and Boutron will be top 3 in Portugal. Tony Cairoli got the Get Athena whole shot ahead of Philipparts, and as Cairoli edged away from the eschewing pack, Max Nagel did his best to fend off the challenge from DeSalle as they fought over 4th. As it started to rain, Tommy Searle lost the front end and fell from 3rd, eventually finishing in 8th, but Paulin, who started outside the top 10, charged past Didika on his way to 4th. But the race belonged to Cairoli, Nagel was 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd. In MX2 Race 1, Alexander Tonkov on the Ester Motorsports JTEC Honda was the surprise early leader in MX2, picking up the Get Athena whole shot along the way. Glenn Koldenhoff was a close 2nd and on lap 4 pushed his standing construct KTM into the lead. A lap later, Nichols also found a way past Tonkov to take 2nd on lap 5, and Mel Pocock also followed Nichols through a lap later as Tonkov started to slip back to 9th. A slow starting Hurlings took 10 laps to move from 7th to 2nd in tricky conditions, but needed 2 laps to charge past Koldenhoff to take the lead before going on to win race 1. In the super final, Kevin Strybos, 22, made a quick getaway as he stormed into an early lead, while the GoPro shows Hurlings getting hit from behind at turn 2, sending him to the ground. Cairoli survived this over-scrub as he chased down Strybos for the lead, lost 2 positions to Gonçalves and DeSalle as Strybos tried to escape at the front on the number 22. With Hurlings, number 84, struggling to make up time, Jose Boutron, number 17, was the leading MX2 rider on the Silver Action KTM as Philipparts went out. With 3 laps to go, Cairoli used the lappers to advantage to pass Strybos to take the lead in front of the main grandstand, and he wins the super final. Strybos was 2nd, DeSalle 3rd, Boutron taking the MX2 victory. Your MX2 podium was Hurlings with a 1st and a 2nd, Boutron with a 6th and a 1st, Tixier with a 4-3, and it was Cairoli with GP win number 58. DeSalle was 2nd, Strybos was 3rd. After Brazil, the FIM Motocross World Championship returned to Europe in the French Grand Prix at Ernée. Gauthier Paulin launched past Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, number 89, on lap 2 to take 2nd and set about chasing Cairoli, the race leader. As Paulin applied the pressure, Cairoli made a mistake mid-race and lost the lead to the delight of the French crowd. And for the next 10 laps, there was nothing between them as the fans wanted a French victory. Tommy Searle on the 100 was under the watchful eye of Max Nagel on the Honda as they duked it out for 7th, but up front it was a tense affair as Cairoli piled on the pressure, trying to force a mistake from Paulin, but in the end it didn't happen. Paulin remained cool, calm and collected and went on to take victory in race 1. Cairoli was 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd. In MXoN race 2, compared to the first race, the second race was a bit of an anticlimax as Cairoli stormed into an early lead, while cry-up favourite Paulhan was buried just outside the top 10. Instead, it was up to Xavier Bourg to get the fans going as he sat second for the opening 3 laps before losing ground to Didika and Tommy Searle. Paulhan was on the charge and riding a little loose as he made his way into 5th on lap 9. No mistakes from Cairoli as he took his 11th race win. DeSalle was 2nd, Searle 3rd, Paulhan 4th, and your podium was Cairoli, Paulhan, DeSalle.
I'm very happy, it's always nice when you win a GP, especially in France, the home of your main contender of the championship. So I'm happy, and this is a good motivation for next GP that is in Italy, and hopefully a lot of people come over for me and for the rest of the Italians, and it should be a nice race.
The Australian Dean Ferris won the qualifying race after Jeffrey Hurling suffered another spectacular Saturday crash and will be riding wounded as a result of his fall, but by the end of lap 1, Hurling's number 84 was already leading the way. On lap 2, Jake Nichols charged past Jose Boutron into 4th before being caught and passed by Jordi Tixier. Alexander Tonkov landed in neutral and took out, inadvertently, Christophe Charlier on lap 14. More of a surprise than Hurling's winning the race was Dylan Ferrandis coming home in 2nd. Koldenhoff was 3rd. Jordi Tixier reached turn 1 in 2nd and halfway round the lap fell from the lead after losing his front end into a left-hander on one of the plateaus. Jake Nichols led then for the next 4 laps, but the Brit was then caught by Dylan Ferrandis on the Bud Rockstar Racing Kawasaki on lap 5 as Ferris and Hurlings looked on in the background. A lap later and Ferrandis found himself on the floor, handing the lead back to Nichols. Suddenly Ferrandis was in a fight for 3rd with Ferris and Charlier as the 2 Yamahas made contact. On lap 9, Nichols was forced to surrender his lead to Hurlings as the Dutch teenager went in search of another race win, leaving Nichols to fend off a late surge from Ferrandis, who found his way back to 2nd. Hurlings won the race, Ferrandis was 2nd, Charlier was 3rd, and it was Hurlings, Ferrandis and Charlier on the podium.
Yeah, definitely, shame I didn't win all the motos, just lost one, but I'm really thankful, God made me go through gnarly things yesterday, and I'm happy to be here on one piece. It could have been horribly wrong, so happy to be out there. I just did enough to win, didn't push my limits, just if I won was enough, so I did that, and let's go to Italy for another GP, and yeah, never could do it without Red Bull KTM Racing Team.
The Italian Grand Prix at Maggiora got off to the best possible start as Cairoli stormed to an early lead before falling on lap 2, dropping him back to 4th behind DeSalle, Didika and Strybos. Guarneri was inspired by the occasion, perhaps a little too much, as he brought down Tommy Searle and himself, taking him out of 7th. The roar of the crowd meant that Cairoli was down again, this time from 3rd, allowing the Kawasaki's of Van Hoorbeek and Paulhan to take advantage. Despite the mistakes, Cairoli dug deep into his reserves to first find a way past Van Hoorbeek, before going on to chase down Paulhan, his main rival in the championship. DeSalle won race 1 though. Possibly the best race of the year, Paulhan made a break for it at the front as Cairoli was stuck behind the 121 of Xavier Bourg in 3rd. Despite a slight slip over the crest of one of the hills, Cairoli eventually moved past the Ice One Racing KTM rider Xavier Bourg, leaving the Frenchman on the floor in this right-hander in the process. Cairoli then set about Van Hoorbeek, passing him comfortably to move into 3rd on lap 10. And then 4 laps later, Cairoli was onto his teammate Didika, passing him through the long left on lap 14. And the next 9 laps saw Paulhan under attack from the 6-time world champion Cairoli as they fought for supremacy in Cairoli's backyard. But it was Paulhan who took revenge by winning the race in the Italian Grand Prix a week after Cairoli took French honours from Paulhan. The podium was Paulhan, Didika and Cairoli.
I work so hard every day, and to be racing like this, it's a dream. And now I'm working so hard every time I'm on cycle for 4 hours. To race like that, it's a dream. I really want to thank all my family, my girlfriend, all the sponsors, and we keep pushing.
Well done.
Alexander Tonkov was the surprise winner of the qualifying race and looked set to do the same in race 1 before falling on lap 2 whilst leading, handing the advantage to Boutron. On lap 9, Hurlings passed Tonkov to take 2nd and set his sights on Jose Boutron for the lead. And Hurlings seized his opportunity on lap 10 by taking over the lead on the downhill, with Tonkov passing Boutron 2 laps later for 2nd. With 3 laps to go. Lupino moved past Dean Ferris into 7th, to the delight of the Italian crowd, as Boutron went back after Tonkov for 2nd with 2 to go. But Hurlings took the win with Boutron 2nd and Nichols was 3rd. That was the result in Moto number 1. In race 2, once again, Tonkov set the pace, but by lap 3, Hurlings was back in front with this pass here and heading for another victory. Dean Ferris had a moment that allowed Charlier to go through into 6 on lap 10, and after holding 2nd for the entire race, Tonkov had been caught by Alessandro Lupino and made the pass with 2 to go. Hurlings, Lupino, Tonkov was the result. Hurlings, Boutron, Lupino was the podium.
Something really amazing, and especially here in Italy. For the last 10 minutes, I was without breath. I was so surprised of me and the public. I was enjoying the track, enjoying the public.
With just 3 points dropped, Hurlings is now 124 points clear of Tixier.
Well, that's the end of an absolutely stunning Grand Prix here in Italy. And if we didn't think we could surpass the battles of France, we certainly didn't disappoint here today. Tony Cairoli and Gauthier Paulin exchanging home Grand Prix wins. And in MX2, Alessandro Lupino not disappointing any of the home fans here today as he picks up his 2nd career podium. We'll be back in Sweden. After missing most of the season with a knee injury, Stephen Frossard returned to action with a win in the qualifying race to secure pole, but it was Cairoli who grabbed the lead at turn 1. 183 of Frossard was in 5th in the early stages of the race, with Bobryshev, Paulin and Searle all breathing heavily down his neck. Paulin fell in the background as Bobryshev and Searle made a move on Frossard, this one here putting Searle back into 5th. Jeremy Valen-Horbeek felt the full force of Ken de Dijker with 2 to go as de Dijker moved into 4th. Nagel enjoyed some sharp end time in 2nd as Cairoli took the win from Nagel. In MX1 race 2, Cairoli's Red Bull KTM made the best start once again as Frossard got pushed wide in this right-hander by Paulin in turn 5. A lap later, Paulin then fell at the bottom of the hill, leaving him down in 9th place. But Paulin immediately went back to work on the 21, picking off David Philipparts to go into 6th. Davide Ganeri was also passed. That put Paulin into 5th, but Cairoli couldn't afford to relax, and a mistake here allowed de Dijker to charge through into the lead on lap 10, where he stayed for the next 7 laps before Cairoli jumped back into the lead in the closing stages. Cairoli wins the race, de Dijker 2nd, de Salle 3rd, and your podium was Cairoli, de Dijker and de Salle. In MX2 race 1, Jeffrey Hurlings fell going into turn 1 and was the last rider to get going by the time he remounted, leaving Christophe Charlier with a clear track. By lap 2, Hurlings on the 84 was up to 12th behind Tim Geiser on the 243 Marchetti KTM. And Jose Boutron and Jake Nichols battled over 2nd before Nichols forced his way past Boutron. Boutron then crashed. Meanwhile, Hurlings found a way past Alexander Tonkov on lap 15 to take 5th. 2 laps later, Hurlings was past Ferris and into 4th. The win went to Charlier, Nichols was 2nd, and Hurlings was 3rd. A great ride through the field in race 1. In MX2 race 2, Jose Boutron, number 17, led the way for the first 2 laps as Jordi Tixier and Jeffrey Hurlings fought over 2nd. Charlier was in 4th, but lucky to stay up here. Towards the end of lap 1, Hurlings got the better drive and made the pass on Tixier to go into 2nd. And on lap 3, Hurlings was in the lead with this pass around the outside on Jose Boutron. 5 laps later, Tixier on the 911 passed Boutron at the bottom of the hill to take 2nd, pushed him wide as well. Charlier, with one eye on a possible GP victory, forced his way past Boutron in pursuit of Tixier. Tixier managed to hold on to 2nd, while Hurlings rounded out the final turn to secure another race win and overall victory in Sweden. The podium was Hurlings with a 3-1, Charlier 2nd and Tixier was 3rd.
So I'm very happy of this race. It's my 2nd podium this year, and I take a good feeling with my bike, and yeah, very happy this podium.
Drama at turn 1 in Latvia in MX1 race 1 as Cairoli drifted wide on the exit and into the path of Gauthier Paulin, leaving the Frenchman on the floor. Ken de Dijker took over the lead as the 222 of Cairoli and Clement de Salle tried to keep de Dijker in their sights. On lap 9, Paulin jumped past Evgeny Bobryshev on the red Honda to move into 6th, while the other Kawasaki of Tommy Searle jumped past the Honda of Max Nagel for 8th. Paulin managed to pass Kevin Strybos with 5 laps to go to take 5th, but no one was a match for Kenny Dyker, who recorded his 2nd win of the season. Cairoli was 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd. In race 2, Cairoli and Dyker up front for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Joel Roulonc's number 34, Monster Energy Yamaha, was under attack from the Honda World Motocross machine of Bobichev as they battled for 8th. Tommy Searle, 100, came from outside the top 10 to catch Jeremy Van Horbeek and made the pass to go 5th at half distance. Searle then passed Paulin the following lap to go 4th, but then he hooked up with a back marker as he challenged DeSalle for 3rd and stalled the engine, and that dropped him back to 6th. Cairoli, though, was the winner of race 2. Dyker was 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd, and the podium was Tony Cairoli with 2nd and a 1st, Dyker 2nd, DeSalle was 3rd. MX2 race 1 in the Silver Action KTM of Jose Boutron took the Get Athena whole shot. But hard on his heels was Jeffrey Hurling's 84, who, surprise, surprise, found his way to the front by the 3rd lap. 3 laps later, Jordi Tixier passed Boutron to move into 2nd, while Mel Pocock buried the front end on lap 8 whilst in 5th, taking Alexander Tonkov with him. A small mistake a little later dropped Tixier back to 6th, and Tonkov crashed all by himself from 10th 2 laps later. On lap 14, Glenn Koldenoff forced his way past Jake Nichols on the 45 to take 3rd as Hurlings went on to win again. Race 2, and this time it was Hurlings who took the whole shot, holding a tight line around turn 1. At the end of the lap, Christophe Charlier buried the front of his Monster Energy Yamaha as he tried to pass Roman Fevre and went over the bars as a result. Boutron was under attack from Alessandro Lupino for the first 3 laps as they battled for 2nd, but Lupino would eventually DNF. Hurlings was once again unstoppable. Tixier was 2nd and Boutron was 3rd. And your overall podium in Latvia was Jeffrey Hurlings, Boutron and Tixier. Ervinka was the scene of the Grand Prix of Finland, and it was Commander Sal who led through turn 1 with Cairoli in 7th. Rui Gonçalves got off to a flyer in 2nd on the Ice One Racing KTM ahead of Strybos and Cairoli, already 4th before the end of the first lap. Bob Rochef claimed 6th from Gonçalves on lap 4 as Paulin survived a rodeo moment as he battled from outside the top 10 before eventually making it back into 6th. But it was a tough race for the Frenchman. On lap 16, Tony Cairoli took no prisoners, but plenty of DeSalle's front wheel as he stormed to the front. And at the same time, DeSalle's teammate Strybos got 4th place to Van Horbeek with 2 laps to go. Once again, DeSalle had to settle for 2nd on the Suzuki as Cairoli took another moto win with the Dyker with 3rd. Kevin Strybos set the pace early in race 2 with Cairoli and Gonçalves inside the top 3. Cairoli wasted no time in homing in on Strybos though. Before the end of lap 1, the Red Bull KTM of Cairoli was leading again through one of the tough sections, although Strybos made him work for it. Gonçalves held 4th for 4 laps as Van Horbeek stormed through, pushed Sean Simpson back to 6th. The fireworks provided by DeSalle and Searle as they battled for 3rd from lap 5, with DeSalle forcing Searle off track in the first of many run-ins. But it was another win for Cairoli from the Zukis of Strybos and DeSalle. The MX1 podium, though, looked like this: Cairoli, DeSalle and Strybos. MX2 race 1, Glenn Koldenoff was the pole man after Hurlings survived a huge first turn crash in the qualifying race, but when it mattered, Hurlings wasted no time in getting to the front. Tixier fell on lap 1 and would have to work hard to get back to 5th. Alexander Tonkov traded blows in the early part of the race, battling for 6th. And the Wolverhampton boys, Jake Nichols and Roman Fevre, got a little too close for comfort as they fought over 4th. Koldenoff on the 259 rode his standing construct KTM into 2nd for the 3rd time this season, behind Hurlings. Dylan Ferrandis took the whole shot with Hurlings back in 12th through turn 1, but Christophe Charlier, Ivo Monticelli and Jake Nichols weren't so lucky going out at turn 1. Hurlings immediately set about his rivals, passing Boutron for 2nd before the end of the lap. And Ferrandis was briefly 2nd until Jordi Tixier jumped past into 2nd on lap 3, leaving the Frenchman, Ferrandis, to deal with Boutron, Ferris and Tonkov. Dean Ferris forced his way into 3rd when he passed Jose Boutron on lap 9. But the hard charge award went to Max Anstey on the Suzuki as he came from outside the top 25 to 7th. Hurlings crossed the line for win number 22 from Tixier and Ferris. The podium was Hurlings, Ferris and Tixier.
The last few rounds, it's been really tough for me, and I just kept at it and kept training, and there were some low points in there, but we worked together with the team, and Steve Dixon always believed in me. He gave me a chance, and we.
Round 13 in Germany will be remembered for two reasons: the stadium-style circuit on the infield of the Lausitz-Ring and the end of Paulhan's title race. With Paulhan out in front, Cairoli and de Salle battled for second, with the Belgian moving past the Italian on lap 3. But Paulhan crashed, and that changed everything, with the Frenchman unable to compete in the GP after being knocked unconscious. Cairoli's leading the championship gained a massive boost. On a brighter note, Roulants had his best race of the year, narrowly losing out to Strybos, but de Salle controlled the race to win in Moto number 1. In race 2, Cairoli took the whole shot from Roulants 34, but before long, Cairoli was joined by Searle on the 100 and de Salle 25. And just like Finland, those two pushed each other to the limit before de Salle eventually made the pass stick. Ken de Dijker, number 9, waited until lap 9 to ease past Searle on the 100 into third as the 35-degree temperature started to take its toll. De Salle couldn't catch Cairoli though, and the Sicilian claimed his 9th victory of the season. That's 63 in total now for the Sicilian, and he really was in control of the championship at this stage of the series. The MX1 podium then in Germany looked like this: Cairoli, de Salle and de Dijker. In MX2 race 1, Jordi Tixier and Mel Pocock were first through the turn as Max Anstey had to battle once again around the outside from a poor start. 13th on lap 1, this pass on Boutron put him into 6th, as Charlier went after Ferris for 2nd. Herlings took another win. Charlier was 2nd, Tixier was 3rd, and Anstey was 4th in the first race in Germany. The most exciting MX2 race of the day, as Jordi Tixier led Herlings for 5 laps before the inevitable happened. Tixier then came under pressure from Glenn Koldenoff. Soon after, Herlings found a way into the lead. Max Anstey was there in the background as well, as they battled for 2nd, with Anstey and Koldenoff squaring up to each other on lap 16 at the end of pit lane. 2 corners later though, and it was all over for Anstey after a mistimed scrub went badly wrong, ejecting him from the Rockstar Energy Suzuki, although he did remount to finish in 9th. Boutron, number 17, stole 4th from Ferris on the 111 with 2 laps to go, but another win meant Herlings was a week away from being crowned world champion for the 2nd time. There's the standings then after 13 rounds. The MX2 podium looks like this: Herlings, Tixier and Koldenoff, who took his first ever podium. Round 14 rolled into the Czech Republic, and the Suzuki of de Salle and Strybos led the way in race 1 as Cairoli stalled his machine at the end of the first lap, dropping him to 10th. Number 9, Ken de Dijker, was in 4th, but moved to 3rd with this pass on Van Hoorbeek on lap 3 at the top of the hill. De Dijker then went after Strybos, number 22, and moved into 2nd on lap 5. Cairoli passed Bobryshev at the end of the wave section to move 5th on lap 9, and as the rain started to fall, Strybos regained 2nd from Ken de Dijker on lap 15. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek lost the front end at the end of pit lane and fell from 4th and did not finish the race. And de Salle was the winner of race 1. Strybos was 2nd, de Dijker was 3rd. MX1 race 2, another perfect start saw de Salle lead the way from Bobryshev. At the end of lap 1, Cairoli and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek though tagged out of the right-hander, leaving the Sicilian on the floor and down in 14th place. Sean Simpson on the 24 lost a couple of positions when he fell from 7th, allowing Cairoli a way through, and 2 laps later, Philippart succumbed to Cairoli, who was now 7th. Strybos on the yellow machine won this particular battle to eventually take 4th from de Dijker, but it was a perfect day for de Salle with a double race win in Lockett. Podium was de Salle, Strybos and Bobryshev.
Finally I get the super GP, both moto wins, so really happy about it, and I'm looking for the future and then next race to have again some win.
We'll see you in Bastogne.
In MX2 race 1, after winning the qualifying race, Herlings only had one thing on his mind: winning the first race. With Herlings up front, Charlier and Boutron, who were having their own private battle for 3rd in the championship. That was on the line. Boutron went through and went down. Banks Brown and Max Anstey tagged at the top of the hill. Anstey crashing out as Alessandro Lupino on the 300 passed Alexander Tonkov. up the hill to take second as Maxime Dupre, 141, pushed his Monster Energy Yamaha teammate Mel Pocock to the limit in the battle for 7th. Victory in race 1, though, meant the title was just 45 minutes away for Herlings. Lupino came home 2nd, Tonkov was 3rd. MX2 race 2, Boutron and Charlier led the way, with Koldenhoff 3rd, but by lap 3, Herlings was past Charlier and into 2nd. A lap later, Herlings was the new race leader as he charged up the inside of Boutron. Koldenhoff and Boutron then tussled for 3rd. A little bit of fun and games at the bottom of the hill, as Herlings was on his way to making history, crossing the finish line as a 2-time world champion with 3 rounds remaining. What a great day it was for the young Dutch sensation. Your overall podium then in the Czech Republic, Herlings was your winner with another double win. Charlier was 2nd, Tonkov was 3rd.
No, it really wasn't. I had so many ups and downs, or so many crashes, even though I had some crashes when I was knocked out during practice, or many crashes on the Saturday qualification that no one knew on let's practice the crashes. But I made it and I got a world championship, and I think this year was so consistent. Won every single GP till now, 14 in a row.
After Desailles' victory in the Czech Republic, Cairoli would have liked nothing better to win in Belgium, and a perfect start sent Cairoli on his way. Desailles gave chase in 2nd with Paulin in 3rd. Strybos and Dodajka battled over 5th, and they were soon joined by the Honda of Evgeny Bobashev on the red Honda, as the Russian eventually found his way past both riders, passing Strybos here to take 4th. Just after that, Desailles fell from 2nd, but quickly remounted, leaving Cairoli to go and challenge for the win in Moto number 1. In race 2, Cairoli led again, but was caught by surprise on the first lap as Desailles sailed into the lead on the opening lap. Behind them, the Hondas of David Philipparts and Bobashev battled for 3rd, and on lap 10, a frustrated Gauthier Paulin lost control of his Kawasaki and almost crashed, but it was enough to spook him back to the camper and out of the race. Simpson stayed upright to claim 11th. Kevin Strybos jumped past Philipparts into 5th with 5 laps to go on the yellow Suzuki, as Desailles wowed the home fans en route to the checkered flag in his first ever home victory in Belgium. Standings after 15 rounds, Cairoli 90 points clear with 100 left up for grabs. The podium, though, was a very happy Desailles on the top step, with Cairoli 2nd and Bobashev 3rd. MX2 race 1, and after winning the first 14 GPs, newly crowned champ Herlings crashed in Saturday's qualifying and was out of this GP. Jordi Tixier and Christophe Charlier fought over 3rd, while Maxime Dupre, the 141, and Dean Ferris battled for the lead, the Australian 111 eventually making the pass for the lead on lap 14. 911 Jordi Tixier was now 2nd, and Charlier passed Dupre for 3rd with 4 laps to go, but Ferris hung on to claim his first ever race win. In race 2, there was much to play for in this one, as no one other than Herlings had ever won a Grand Prix before, so Charlier was being harassed by Romain Febvre for 3 laps for 4th, before dropping back to 7th as he fell here, while Febvre went after Boutron for 3rd. Tixier here on the orange KTM was on the charge after a poor start, dented his chances of winning the overall, eventually taking 5th. The green of Lupino got the better of Tonkov for an eventual night, but it was a double win for Ferris and a first career victory for the Australian. It was a perfect score on the top step of the podium. It was Ferris, Tixier and Koldenhoff. Round 16, and Matchley Base in Great Britain. Cairoli took the whole shot as Van Hoorbeek fell at turn 1. Wildcard rider Sebastian Pourcel, number 4, looked a little ring rusty despite a good start in 5th, eventually dropping out to 23rd. Commander Sal, though, on the number 25, led the way until lap 10 when Tony Cairoli decided to attack the leader. He went round the outside at the bottom of the hill and took the lead, and that was all she wrote. And Tony Cairoli went on to take the checkered flag and was crowned world champion for a record 7th time for him.
Win the title and win also my race was my goal. I know I like this track a lot, and I've been riding quite well the last 2 days, so I think I deserve this victory in the first race. now we're gonna celebrate, and we'll see if second race I'm not too drunk for race or.
Well, at the start of race 2, the new world champ led the pack around the first turn with DeSalle hot on his heels. Joel Roulan's 34 also made a good start in third with Van Horbeek in fourth. Cairoli, though, fell in this next right-hander on the first lap and started his fight back through the field, getting back to fourth within 2 laps. Behind him, Gauthier Paulin and Kevin Strybos were fighting over fifth when suddenly Cairoli's bike started to misfire and was cutting out constantly. Kevin Strybos went by Gauthier Paulin, and that was the moment that Cairoli said enough is enough, and he was forced to retire. The checkered flag went out to Commander Sal, and he went on to win his 3rd consecutive Grand Prix victory, and they're the points after 16 rounds, and your podium looked like this: DeSalle, Strybos and Bobryshev. After his double race win in Belgium last time out, Dean Ferris got off to a flyer in race 1 and led every one of the 18 laps on offer to make it 3 wins in a row. Jake Nichols on the 45 pushed him hard though, but had to settle for second in his first home outing as he was urged on by the partisan crowd. Glenn Coldenhoff on the 259 rode a solid ride to take third, and all 3 riders had the chance to win the overall Grand Prix with a decent ride in race 2. Another good start saw Dean Ferris in third early on, but on lap 6 he crashed out of the race and damaged his fuel tank and did not finish the race. Christophe Charlier, though, he took the lead on lap 2 and was never challenged as he raced to a comfortable victory. Jake Nichols worked hard after a poor first lap to get 6th at the flag, but all the talk was for Glenn Coldenhoff, who won the Grand Prix with a 3rd and 4th to secure his first ever Grand Prix victory. Grand Prix of Benelux, final round at Lierop. A heavy track awaited the riders after overnight rain absolutely covered the circuit. Kenny Bobryshev led the opening lap, but was passed by Kevin Strybos on the yellow Suzuki on lap 2. Sean Simpson, 24 on a JK Gebbon Yamaha in blue, proved his second position in qualifying was no fluke as he powered past Bobryshev on lap 5 to take second as DeSalle crashed out again. On lap 10, Simpson took this pass from Strybos, and in the closing stages, Cairoli attempted his pass on the lead and fell, leaving Simpson to win his first MXoN moto. MXoN race 2, Cairoli riding the unfamiliar 450 instead of his usual 350 steed, launched out of the start and set about making amends for his mistake from race 1. And after starting 6th, Sean Simpson in blue passed Kevin Strybos around the outside to take 4th on lap 3 as Van Horbeek fell from 8th. Number 9, Kenda Dijker passed Evgeny Bobryshev in red to take 4th on lap 8 and set about chasing down Simpson in 3rd. But a mistake from Kenda Dijker through the rhythm section allowed Simpson back into 3rd, which would be good enough to win the overall Grand Prix. Cairoli won the final race of the year, but it was Sean Simpson on the JK Gebbon Yamaha who won the final MX1 Grand Prix ever, his first ever victory in his career. Quick look at the standings then. Cairoli, DeSalle, Dijker, Strybos, Paulin, your top 5 in the world standings.
Oh, absolutely incredible. I went a whole shot, or I beat Tony into the second corner. I was speedway styling it, and then I went down. It's back to about 8th. I managed to get back up and get up to 2nd. Honestly, I can't describe what I'm feeling right now. It's the best GP of the year. It's the best day of my career, and I can't believe I've done it.
Biggest smile of the day then goes to Sean Simpson as he takes his first ever top step at the podium with a 1st and a 3rd. Strybos was 2nd, Cairoli was 3rd. In MX2 race 1, after missing 2 rounds through injury, Jeffrey Hurlings made the brave decision to race his home Grand Prix against doctor's orders, but it didn't stop him taking the lead on lap 1. Dylan Ferrandis and Jordi Tixier fought the whole race for 2nd, with Ferrandis winning out that battle as Coldenhoff was forced to pull out from 4th. After crashing out early, the 111 of Dean Ferris pulled his way back to 5th, while a second-hand Hurlings limped to victory in race 1. Ferrandis was 2nd, Tixier was 3rd. In race 2, Hurlings led the early stages of the race as Jose Boutron did his best to negotiate the tough sandy conditions. On lap 6, Coldenhoff found himself leading though on the 259 standing construct KTM after a rare Hurlings mistake, but his lead was last for 8 laps. Slowly but surely, Hurlings clawed back the deficit and was back on Coldenhoff's rear wheel. With 4 laps to go, Hurlings launched into the lead around the outside and secured another double victory. Koldenhoff for second, Ferrandis was third. Overall standings then, Hurlings your winner, no change in the top 7. Lupino gained a position to 8th, as did Ferrandis tonight with today's performance. On your podium for the final round, Hurlings, Ferrandis and Tixier. FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations kicked off at Teufelstal in Germany. Race 1 was MXoN and MX2, and it was Dean Ferris, 29 of Australia, that led everybody around the first turn. Ken Roxon, number 2 of Germany, passed Valentin Guer of Switzerland, number 55, to move into second, as Bob Rechef fell from 12th and would not finish the race. Dean Ferris came under pressure from Antonio Cairoli, and the Italian then went after the lead, as Tomac, number 8 of the USA, also found a way past Ferris. It was a good ride for the Australian all the same. Cairoli then passed Roxon of Germany to lead the race, whereas Tomac had this big moment at the top of the hill, challenging for Roxon and that second position. He was lucky to escape injury, but Cairoli won the race for Italy. Roxon was second. Race 2 was MX2 and Open. Ferris, Australia again, with a foxhole shot from Roxon, Germany, as Todd Waters, 30, was involved in the first turn crash. Roxon, number 2 of Germany, found his way past Dean Ferris of Australia to lead race 2. Eli Tomac also went through to go into second. Roxon and Tomac then provided the fireworks for the race, as Roxon's teammate, Dennis Ulrich, crashed out of the race. Alessandro Lupino, number 14, was in 8th for Italy, and that was good for them, as Justin Barsha survived a moment whilst 3rd, but it wasn't enough to stop Commander Sal, number 6, going through for Belgium. The battle was between Roxon and Tomac, but it was Roxon who just did enough to hold on in front of his home crowd and wins the race for Germany. Tomac was 2nd, Belgium was 3rd with de Sal. Final race was Open and MX1. 3 teams were still in with a chance of winning, with Belgium leading the way, 3 points clear of the USA. It was a great start for Max Nagel, number 1 of Germany, as he took the foxhole shot, but a first turn crash took out Commander Sal of Belgium with a shoulder injury, there in yellow. Number 7, Ryan Dungey, squeezed Tommy Searle into 6, as Cairoli, number 13 of Italy, chased Max Nagel for the lead. And on lap 10, Tony Cairoli, number 13, took the lead from Nagel on the red Honda, pushing the German back into 2nd. Cairoli won the race for Italy, but De Dijker came home 2nd, and that was good enough for Belgium to win the event. USA was 2nd, Italy made the podium for the first time, finishing in 3rd. A noisy podium then awaited the riders. Belgium were your winners, Van Horbeek, de Sal and De Dijker. Dungey, Tomac, Barsha was 2nd. Cairoli, Lupino, Philipparts for Italy were 3rd. Belgium the winners of the Chamberlain Trophy. So what a year it's been. Belgium win the Motocross of Nations. Roxon sends the fans home happy after the Nations here in Germany. But that's it for our 2013 FIM Motocross season review. We hope you've enjoyed it, revisiting some of the best action that this season has had to offer. My name's Paul Malin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next year. Bye for now.